Hi, my name is Ian Price, and I'm a software engineer at OmniSite. In this tutorial, I'm going to discuss a guard dog feature called the callout system. The callout system can be found by navigating to Setup and selecting Callout System. Before we move forward with how to use the callout system, let's first talk about what it is and how it can be useful to you. The callout system provides users with the ability to edit and refine how OmniSite notifies users when a station alarm is triggered. Users can decide who gets notified at what time, how many times each recipient gets notified, and over what medium recipients get notified. Recipients can be notified via phone calls, texts, and emails. In the event that an alarm is triggered, the callout process will begin. This process starts by determining which callout list of recipients needs to be notified based on the configured callout schedule. Once we know who needs to be notified, we begin contacting each recipient in the callout list until either the notification has been acknowledged or until the entire callout list has been executed. Now let's navigate to the first page of the callout system by selecting the Recipient Library. The Recipient Library allows users to add and edit contact information for recipients. The recipient info can then be used in our callout list. We will start by creating a few new recipients. Click on the Add button. The name is going to be Ian Price. Type is going to be phone, which is a call. Label can be anything, but I'm going to put personal. And the phone number is going to be this number. Then I will click on Save. And now I'm going to add a couple more. Now I can add a new recipient with the same name by clicking the smaller icon that's in the same grouping. This time the type is going to be email. The label is going to be personal for personal email. And the email is going to be eprice@calpita.com. And then I'll save. And now I'll add one more to this group. This time it's going to be text. And then I'll also add a personal label again. And the phone number. And then click Save. After creating recipients, we can also delete them by clicking this delete button. Click OK, and now it's gone. Now I can add it back by clicking back on the Add button, selecting type of text, label of personal, and a phone number of that. We can also edit the recipients by clicking the pencil icon. And I'm going to modify the phone number to be this number, and then click Save. You might notice that some recipients do not have the delete icon, and that is because this recipient is currently being used in a callout list. You cannot delete a recipient if it is currently being used by our callout list. In order to delete this recipient, you would have to go to the callout list and remove the recipient first, and then attempt to delete it. Now that we have covered the recipient library, we will move on to the callout list page. The callout list page is where you can manage your callout lists. This page helps users form teams or lists, detailing how and in what sequence recipients in the list will be contacted when an alarm is raised. There are two sections of this page. The first section, Callout List, allows you to add, edit, and delete callout list, while the second section displays all of the recipients in that callout list. You can select different callout lists by selecting a different row in the table. As you can see, when I select this row, it changes. over here. While these two rows are mostly the same besides the retries and the time delays. I'm going to start by creating a new callout list called South Plant Day Shift. And then I'll click the Save button. As you can see, my new recipients were pre-populated in this callout list. However, I would like to add a few more. I will start by adding Timmy Timpson personal cell text. I will select 2 retries, and we will go with a 2-minute delay. And then I'll click Save. Once again, I will add Timmy Timpson, but this time I will do his personal cell phone, and I will do 4 retries. And we'll do the time delay as 5 minutes, and then save. And lastly, I will add Jim Jimson's phone with 5 retries and a 5-minute time delay. Now that we have our recipients added to our callout list, I will go over how the callout list will be executed when an alarm occurs. The callout lists are executed from top to bottom. So the first notification to go out will be to Ian Price's email. The second notification to go out will be to Ian Price's text. And the third notification to go out will be to his cell phone, which will be a call. And then after that, it'll go to Timmy Timpson, and then Timmy Timpson again, and then Jim Jimson. Once the call list has been executed for the first time, if any retries are set, then it will go back to the beginning and retry. Now that we have our callout list created, we will move on to the callout schedule page. The callout schedule page is where you create your schedules, which determine the callout list to use based on the time and day an alarm occurs. The first section allows you to add, edit, and delete your callout schedules, while the second section allows you to view the callout list and add new callout lists to your callout schedule. You may notice that each callout list that is set up for this callout schedule has a specific pattern assigned to it. That pattern will correlate to the scheduling on the right. North Plant Night Shift is active from 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. and 6 p.m. to 11 p.m., while North Plant Day Shift is active from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m., and you can configure this however you want. Let's continue by creating a new callout schedule. First, click the Add button. Now we will create the name, which is in this case is going to be South Plant Schedule, and there is an optional notes field. So let's click Save. Now that we've created this new schedule, we need to add our callout lists. So we'll start by adding the South Plant Day Shift callout list, clicking on that and selecting Add. And then let's go ahead and add the other South Plant callout list, which is South Plant Night Shift, and then Add. Now that both of our callout lists are added to our callout schedule, all we need to do is schedule them. So I'm going to select the South Plant Day Shift, and I will start that from 6 a.m. and just drag to 5 p.m. And then I'll select the South Plant Night Shift and go from 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. and 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. And then we'll click Save. And here it is. We have the South Plant Night Shift and South Plant Day Shift, and we have our hours and days assigned to each callout list. Now that we have our callout schedules ready, we can now assign them to station inputs by navigating to the device setup page. The device setup page is where we can assign our newly created callout schedules to our station inputs. When an alarm occurs on a specific station input, the assigned callout schedule will be executed. Let's continue by assigning our callout schedule to input 1 on the crystal ball. First, select the pencil icon. Next, we need to decide when we want notifications to go out, either when the input 1 goes into an alarm state, when input 1 goes into normal state, or both. I'll select both. Now we decide which callout schedule we want to assign to this input. I'm going to select South Plant Schedule, and then I'll select Save. Our callout schedule has now been assigned to input 1 on our station. Now, anytime an alarm occurs on input 1, recipients from the South Plant schedule will receive an alert in the form of an email, text, or phone call. The callout list that notifications are sent to will be based on the callout list that is active during the day and time of the alarm's occurrence. The entire callout system process has now been completed. However, there is one more feature that should be covered. Navigate to the Recipient Exception page by selecting on Setup and Callout System. Then go to Recipient Exceptions. Everyone deserves a break, and our system does allow for it. The Recipient Exception page allows users to temporarily disable notifications for a specific recipient. This is useful when someone on a callout list is unavailable for some reason, whether that be for a vacation, time off, or something else. Let's create a recipient exception by first selecting the add icon. Now we need to select the recipient to create the exception for. I'm going to create a recipient exception for John Doe. As you can see, John Doe has 3 different recipients, one for phone, one for email, and one for text. In order for John Doe to not receive any notifications, we must create an exception for each of John Doe's recipients. I'm going to go ahead and select John Doe's phone. Moving on, the reason will be vacation. Start date will be September 15th, and the end date will be September 20th. Then we'll click Save. And now this recipient exception has been created. Now we must do the same thing for John Doe's text and email recipient. John Doe's email, reason, vacation, start date September 15th, end date September 20th, save. John Doe's text this time, reason, vacation, September 15th, end date September 20th, and save. Now that the recipient exceptions have been created for John Doe, he will not receive any notifications from September 15th to September 20th. You are now an expert in Guard Dog's callout system. Thanks for watching and being a loyal OmniSite customer.